his guitar. Vince Gill arrived in Nashville in 1983, hoping to make it big, and he had a reason to think that he might. In the late 70s, Vince had a top 10 pop hit as the lead singer of Pure Prairie League, but in the 80s, he returned to his country roots. He had several hits, but none made him a household name. In fact, he was best known for his session work as a guitarist and background singer. He worked with over 150 of country's top stars who felt that their album was not complete without Vince Gill on the liner notes.
I, like most everybody else, have always known that, he can be a superstar in this business.
His voice is star quality. There's nobody that has his voice. He intimidates the hell out of me with his voice, really.
What I love about Vince is that he's such a compassionate person, and he has such a talent that it can't be denied.
But he was denied his turn at stardom. Every year since his country debut, critics predicted Vince Gill would be the next superstar, but it never happened. Instead, his wife passed him by.
I don't miss doing what I used to do. Don't miss nothing since I found you.
Along with her sister, Christine Arnold, Janis Gill is one half of the hit duo Sweethearts of the Rodeo. The Sweethearts hit it big before Vince did, which caused some tension in the family. But in 1988, Vince recorded the album that gave him his first #1 hit and the signature song he'd been looking for. Although he could be called one of the longest overnight success stories in Nashville history, Vince Gill finally became a star.
When I Call Your Name.
When I Call Your Name earned him a gold album and won a CMA award, a Grammy, and a TNN Music City News trophy.
This song was a major blessing to me. You know, I think there was a lot of people that were very close to kicking dirt on me as an artist and kind of burying me because I didn't have the success that everybody thought I should have.
But for Vince, the real reward of stardom is more personal.
There's so many of you are, you know, like outside of my career in other ways, and you're not really plugged into the record company or what have you, and that means so much more to me than any hit record is your friendship. I love all of you.
Vince Gill grew up in Oklahoma City, the youngest of 3 children. As a young boy, Vince had 2 interests, golf and music. By the time he was in high school, he was already in a bluegrass group. And at age 17, he hit the road as a musician, although he was tempted to hit the links instead.
Golly, you maniac.
Vince has worked on his golf game since he was 7 years old. He's good enough to be a pro, but he's not above helping a novice.
Woo! All right, buddy. You got potential, girl. You got a pretty good swing.
Do I?
Yeah. Golf game is you need some work on.
Now, for total humiliation, watch this. Vince.
Bottom. That's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Missed 1 putt. Unbelievable. You made a 5, I made a 4.
Yeah?
You owe me dinner.
Actually, dinner is just a short walk away. This golf course is in Vince's backyard. This is the Nashville home Vince shares with Janis and their daughter, Jenny.
There. I think that's got it.
The upstairs sewing room is where Janis designs her own stage clothes. She's even made most of the draperies in the house.
Well, I've known you probably 7 or 8 years, can you believe? This is the first time I've ever sat down to talk with you as an official, award-winning, gold record-holding star.
How about that? It didn't take too long, did it?
How has all of this, what has it all done to your life?
Well, I mean, I'm having a ball. You know, I'm getting to play in front of a lot of people, and you know, don't get me wrong, I'm not having a bad time. I'm having a great time, you know, but you know, the best thing about it was, is that I had a great time even when it wasn't as big as it is now, you know, and that's the important thing, you know, for me, is I've always enjoyed what I've done, you know, and I've always, in my heart and in my love for music and whatever I was doing, I felt successful.
At the parties, when you're receiving your #1 record, the gold album, you are extremely emotional.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, because it means a lot, you know. I mean, my family, my daughter is like the living end to me, you know, and it's tough to express it, you know, in other ways, but besides getting emotional, you know, I've always done that, you know. It's my way of showing how much I care, you know, and it's the same for all the people that I've met. You know, you've been in my corner for 8 years, you know, and been a friend and always been supportive, and you know, and I don't forget that stuff, and I never will. And it was the best part about, you know, I mean, when I won the Single of the Year, the CMA, the reaction of those people, you know, I'm all right, you know, I'm doing something right. Those people wouldn't have stood up and felt great about me winning.
Why do they call you Mr. Perfect?
I didn't know they did. I don't know.
Are you?
I don't think so. Not by any stretch of the imagination, you know.
Yeah.
I got a lot of faults.
Well, I've tried very hard to find out a skeleton in your closet, to find anything.
You've been trying to dig up dirt on me?
There's no dirt on you. I think you are Mr. Perfect.
No, I just cover my tracks, kid.
You haven't fallen into any of the vices that people fall into, drugs, alcohol.
Drugs, drinking, no. I'd say I'm probably more proud of that than anything. Is that the fact that I've never smoked a joint. You know, never gotten any, and never tried any drugs whatsoever. I just was never really impressed by peer pressure. You know, if everybody said, "Oh, you got to try this," I said, "No, I don't."
But you know, living that kind of a life and not bowing to peer pressure takes a lot of self-confidence. Where did that come from, the confidence in yourself?
I don't know. I really don't. You know, I just, you know, I do have a lot of self-confidence, but I also have a lot of fear. You know, because I've seen a lot of bad things happen with people. My brother was almost killed in a car wreck from getting drunk and driving, and I was at a real impressionable age. He was in a coma for 3 or 4 months.
Is he okay now?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, and then I saw what it did to my mom, and, you know, it just ain't worth it.
That tragic experience helped make Vince the strong family man he is today.
Better than a wedding.
For Vince and his wife Janis, family means everything. They met 15 years ago playing the California club circuit and married 4 years later. They have one daughter, Jenny, who is 9.
Let every heart prepare him through, and heaven and nature sing.
This little girl is the apple of her daddy's eye, as viewers of the TNN Music City News Songwriters Awards recently found out.
You write what you know about. I know about my family. That's about all I know about. But this song has taken me away from my family a lot. And the last 2 months, I haven't even seen my daughter. So I dedicate this to you, Jenny.
Jenny seems to have adjusted well to life in the spotlight, especially since she has 2 famous parents.
Still got it, buddy. That's the first song we ever sang together. A million years ago. Come on, Tails. Come on, let's go to the house.
Come on. Come on.
Mind you.
I feed her and bathe her.
You do the same to me, and I don't mind you.
Is it true that it took her 3 years to say yes to the first date?
Fact. I'd ask her out, and she never would go out with me. She had other boyfriends at the time, and I don't know. You'd have to ask her why. I guess I was a hillbilly. She didn't want to go out with no hillbilly.
No, honey, that's not it.
Oh, it was my earth shoes.
Vince
One of the
wore
only guys in the history.
size 12 shoes and an earth shoe. You can imagine what that may have looked like. It's as wide as it is long. No, I'll tell you why I didn't go out with you. Because he used to, his invitation was, he'd say, "Hi, Jane, this is Vince. Let's pick. Let's get together and pick," because I played a lot of bluegrass guitar. But he was looking everywhere else but my eyes and my face at the time that he would ask me. I mean, it was, I just didn't think that he really wanted to get together and pick. I figured he had other things on his mind, and a girl knows these things sometimes. And
Fess up, Vince. What were you looking
so
at?
I just figured, well, he's
She's
not.
still got a great butt. I don't mind telling you, I don't mind looking at that. Hillbilly's coming out in me here.
I guess.
Can you say butt on TV? Butt.
Oh, me.
Well, Hank Williams Jr. told me this, that Hank Williams said, never marry a woman who wants to sing too.
He said that?
Yes. Because there are so many problems with two careers. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
It is true.
I think that...
Great. Please do go
The
on.
truth needs to come out, honey. Well, I think that I'm really proud of the way that Vince and I have held our marriage together, and we'd be lying if we said that it was easy, because it isn't. It's really hard. You have two egos to deal with, and conflicting schedules, a lot of time on the road.
You know, much has been made of the fact in the press that when Sweethearts of the Rodeo got very successful, that Vince was envious. Vince felt bad. Was that whole thing blown out of proportion, or did you really struggle with that?
I think that I was never envious of her success because of her success. I might have been envious because of the lack of mine, you know, at that period, you know. But at the same time, you know, it's like everything I'd done seemed to just get, like, pushed completely aside. And the only envy that I ever had was obviously and probably for the lack of my own. And the only reason I would ever, you know, honestly maybe give her grief was for Jenny's sake.
How did you keep it from wrecking the marriage?
Boy, I don't know. It got pretty tough, I remember, at one point, and I remember wondering if we were going to be able to pull this off, you know, and I know it was really
news to me too.
No, it isn't. But once again, we go back to you have to push all that other stuff aside, you know, and once you get past all of this career stuff, and you look at your husband, you know, and you can think, I'm going to cry in a minute.
It's all right, bud. Well, I feel like I need to defend myself here.
Well, that's what's important, is... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I guess I did cause her a lot of grief, and you don't know about it, you know, at the time, but I think the thing that I've always tried to make her know, you know, is that I didn't marry her to have her come be my wife and take care of me and do this. And she was a singer and a songwriter and a guitar picker when I married her, and that's who I fell in love with.
Does it work when you two want to give some honest, constructive criticism to each other about your separate work?
Nah.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
No, you've really got to
No-go.
you've really got to walk on eggshells. It's like there's times when I would like her advice, you know, and then if she says what I want her to hear, then it's great. If she says what I don't want her to hear, then it ain't great. And I think it's the same for her, you know, I don't know.
If I go to Vince with a particular question, like on a record, play him something, what do you think of the mix on this record, or what do you think of the sound of the vocals? If I ask him specifically, his honest reaction really doesn't offend me. It's what I'm asking him for. But if he just speaks up of his own accord and says, oh, by the way, that thing you played me, that would kill me.
Well, we've talked about a lot of fun stuff and about some problems and things. But, I mean, when you just look at the bottom line, what do you think makes it work for you two?
I love her. I mean, it's that simple. You know, I don't want to be with nobody else. That's worth more than any of this trivial stuff, career stuff, and this and that. And plus, she's the only one that will put up with me. I can find a lot of them that would like me, but none of them will ever put up with me.
And us both sing his beautiful song, Look at Us.